How much sugar is too much sugar? We're in the biggest sugar eating week of the year, aka Halloween. And in this video, I'm going to give you 3 tips to help you determine how much sugar you should be eating. My name is Leslie Urbis. I'm a registered dietitian and a personal trainer. And as you all know, I'm a selfless overachiever in recovery. And this is one of my favorite topics to talk about because I sound like no one else out there when it comes to sugar. So what you're probably looking for right now is, okay, how much sugar can either you eat as the adult or your children eat as the child, right? And you're expecting to hear a certain amount of grams, most likely, or a certain amount of pieces, or do you do the switch witch kind of thing, or whatever. You're probably wondering what you should do in this situation. And let me tell you that it is going to depend on how you want to parent your child. So for this piece, how much sugar is too much sugar is going to be dependent on what you as the parent or you as the adult want your relationship with sugar to be. So we'll get back to this answer. We're going to go to number 2. So what I mean in number 2 by relationship is, how do you want your relationship to be with sugar? A, do you want your relationship to be like, oh, this is just casual. It's me and sugar. If I want candy, I eat candy. It's not something that I have to eat all day, every day. If I want it, I eat it, but I'm just as readily, easily to say no. Okay. Do you want that relationship? Or do you want the relationship of the hemhar, which I call like, I don't really know how to make a decision because I want to eat the candy, but I know it's bad for me. I know it's terrible for me. My mom always told me I could only have 3 pieces. I want them to be raised this way, but I love the candy. So they see me stealing their candy, mom tax, dad tax, whatever you want to call it. Okay. And so we pull that to the side, and this is mine. This is what I get, right? Okay. And we go back and forth. Oh, is the sugar too bad for him? Maybe I should do the switch witch thing. Maybe I should do this, right? Okay. Or the third case scenario where it's like you get 1 piece or 2 pieces or 3 pieces, and then we give your candy away. Okay. Or we just give your candy away, right? This was fun. We enjoyed it, but we're going to get a gift instead. Okay. Whichever direction you take it, you're in a completely different relationship with sugar. Option A, where sugar just is and that you choose to eat it or not to, is a healthy relationship with sugar. Okay. Option B is someone who's emotionally disconnected. We're not quite sure, right, what to do. And stick around if any of these sound like you, because there's no guilt, there's no shame, there's no horribleness here. We're going to tell you how you can then choose to help yourself. Okay. And then in number 3, it's that absolute control where candy sort of becomes a prize. And as an adult, you could be punishing yourself, or potentially you are following very strict rules around food. Nothing wrong with any of these things, but I want you to note that the presentation of it has to be there for your child in a way that food is not a prize. Because if candy becomes a prize, this is where in adulthood, we can link candy to our emotional pleasure, okay? So I want you to correlate this to, if we tell a child, don't push that button, the child hears, I'm going to push the button. And so you're constantly struggling to try to keep the child from pushing the button, right? Okay. I think there's even a Modern Family episode about this, and it's 100% true, right? I want to touch this button. Okay. So you tell a kid you get 2 pieces of candy, and guess what? They're so focused on, I only get 2, that they cannot stop wanting more candy, and it becomes a battle. And that's when we hide it. We put it up high so they can't reach for it. We get temper tantrums, all the things. And as an adult, you're doing that to yourself, only within your head. You're like, oh, I shouldn't have eaten that, and I should have done that. I can't believe I did that. Time to punish myself. Diet starts tomorrow. I'm going to do this cleanse. I'm going to do this fast. And you are your own parent, punishing and rewarding yourself based on what you deem fit. And then the switch witch, I get it. I totally understand. Maybe you don't want all that candy in your home, but you don't want your child to miss out, and they'd rather have a gift anyways. The real question becomes asking the child, do you want to keep the candy, or do you want the switch witch to come? And why is that important? Because if you allow the child to dictate that, if you allow the child to eat so much candy, they get sick, they learn. My children are 6 and 4 years old. I have never restricted candy. I have never told them they could not have. And you will watch my children have a few pieces and be done. We did a trunk or treat this past Saturday, and I am telling you that from the bag of candy that we have for each of them, they've maybe consumed 4 pieces. That is 2 days ago, and that is how much they have had. It's not a constant battle at my home. The candy is still down on the counter where they can grab it in the bags in which they got it from. They understand that candy is something that is delicious. And when we eat too much, our belly hurts. And how do they figure that out? On their own. So you too can help yourself. So go back to number 1. Well, this is kind of number 2. Number 3 being, when you go to determine how much sugar it is it in conjunction with who you want to be as a parent, who you want to be as a person to yourself, and with the person you're becoming? See, nobody's addressing these questions. We're saying 1 to 2 pieces, drop the switch, do this. But if you go back to option number 1 and knowing that 2 is determine where you are, and 3 is actually think about where you're trying to go in life, and then go back to number 1, you're going to be capable of figuring out what you really want to represent. How do you want to present this to your children? How do you want to present this to yourself? Do you want a solid relationship that candy just is and doesn't have a hold on you? Because when you want that, what you need to do next is uncover your digestion code. Believe it or not, your digestion code is going to tell you, is your kid more prone to craving sweets? You could have the same thing. Does your kid need help in determining how many pieces are good for their body? Do they need more guidance, or do they need yes or no questions? Believe it or not, you can find out so much from your digestion code. And below this is a link to my free resources where you can do a quiz, you can watch the masterclass, or you can jump in and just straight up uncover your code. And this is important this year because as you're thinking about how much candy should I eat or not eat, it is going to be pinnacle for you to choose from here what's best for you and your family. So follow these tips, uncover more, and of course, like, share, and subscribe to my channel. Happy Halloween.